Okay. Says we're live on YouTube. Now let's just see. Are we? Are we indeed live on YouTube? Yes. Yes, we are. Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to, if you are watching this on New Light Streaming Love, it is live. If you are watching it after the fact on Sassy Seer Sheila, it was live streamed earlier today. I just received word from Crystal's sister that she has come through the surgery on her spine and is being moved to recovery. For those of you who are interested to know, I've been working energetically with her surgeon and her team starting last night and surrounding the entire hospital with love and unconditional love, and just asking everyone to be completely present. And I have a really good feeling. I'm sure everything went wonderfully. I will find out from her sister a little while later today how everything went. So there's that. I did start a GoFundMe for Crystal if you are interested in helping her. She is a single mom and she will not be able to work while recovering from this surgery. So I have a link on my Facebook page, and I will be putting that link in the show more section of this video. And every little bit will help. And even if you are unable to assist, if you wouldn't mind sharing it around, maybe someone else can and is moved to do so. So, wow, wow, wow is all I can say. I have been, as you may have noticed, recording quite a bit of Jason Gray's work and putting it on the channels. Wow. I've always said that I do this for me. And if it does something for anyone else, then that's a win-win situation. And his words are certainly doing something for me. I can't really pinpoint exactly what, um, but there's a resonance within my vessel uh, that it's like nothing else I've ever experienced. And it takes quite a bit out of me, which is why you haven't seen me a lot, right? So there's that. And I don't know what else to say. I hope that if you feel drawn, you will take a listen for yourself. And I don't know. I guess, like I said, there's a lot to consider there, for me anyway. And something, a noticing that I have, and I've had this before, and I've shared this before. I think each one of us, because of the way we're programmed and conditioned from birth, we each of us understand language and words in different ways. That part of that is, I'm sure, by design also, but another part of that has to do with our experiential filters, right? Everybody, each one of us have experienced life, programming, conditioning in a lot of differing ways. I've noticed that a lot of us, and I mean, everyone really, we say things differently. And a lot of people will say, well, that's not what I said. That's not what I meant. But there's also similarities in a lot of what is being said and shared. I sort of alluded to that in the my thoughts on messengers, channelings, and that sort of thing. But it really applies not just to messengers and channelings. It applies to everything, I think, everyone in many ways. Oh, interesting. Horse, freedom came out from the divine animal oracle. And there's something about newness here because there's a doorway. The horse is coming in through it, out through something else. Interesting there. The topsy turvets came out from the fairies deck, and I'm not at all surprised to see that. Because again, to me, I'm speaking about perception, right? I always see the topsy turvets as perspective and perception. It is also they chose to use that as the back of the cards, right? So all of the cards have the topsy turvets on the back. And I always have seen this card in regards to perception. There's always more than one way to see something, to take something in, to understand it or not, as the case may be. I personally feel things changing in a very big way. Feel myself changing in a very big way. Oh, wow. We had this card the other day, Heart of God. A lot is being made right now about labels as well. So I'm not at all surprised to see these cards, perceptions, labels. Again, they all mean different things to different folks, right? Um, the two that I see that are here, right? Watching this live, I am assuming, I know what that does, but I'm assuming that your native language is English, or that at least you speak and understand English. However, as do I, I speak Sheila English. You speak your form of English, and they may not be the same. Again, it's a matter of perspective, perception, experiential filters, not just. I love what I heard Jordan Peterson say about language one time, about the difference between the connotation and the denotation of words. Oh, I love this one. This is so true. Surrender your need to always be right. That was a hard one for me. I mean, and I now know I can be right for myself and totally wrong for someone else. Totally wrong. I didn't used to think that. I thought, and that's so interesting too, because as I was meditating right before I came live here, I heard in my head, I heard almost like a little soliloquy about, and now it's totally gone. Isn't that interesting? But it really was about not just the need to be right and how one can be right for themselves and wrong for someone else, um, but what that really actually means. There's a whole lot of assumptions about what's right and what's wrong, the truth, because I've learned so much about the fact that almost nothing that I've been taught to believe was true is true. So, in order for me to think I'm right about something, I have to then believe that I know everything there is to know about that something, which means that I've developed a belief that XYZ is so. And I keep being shown all over the place where nothing I have learned to take as true actually is. There's so many assumptions that have been made about what this reality is. I mean, in the whole, you have to believe that it is whatever it is you've been told in order to claim that there is only one truth. I hope that's clear. I don't know if what I'm saying there. Oh, wow. Yeah, because it's all about divine discernment and where one's discernment is in each moment as well, because for a lot of my life, I went along thinking that, all of what I thought I knew was absolutely so. That's the only way one can really think that they're right about something. Anymore, I have to stop and ask myself, what makes you think that that's the be all end all? Sheila, what makes you think that that subject has been put to bed and that what anybody, including myself or anybody else, thinks is true about, and it doesn't really matter what the topic is, pick a topic. The science of this or that or the other. They're constantly finding that that's not so. This is a hypothesis that we go about trying to prove constantly. Not to mention, we're handed our perceptions of those hypotheses, quite frankly. Oh, I've not seen anything any more true about that than in the medical field through all of this with Lisa. Through all of these testing and and I'm telling you, I've heard more doctors say they do not understand what is happening with her. That's not normal. They've never seen it happen like this. On the one hand, I don't know. Um, yeah, so much has to be assumed. Wow, I want to say we had this too. This is a huge stack of cards. I feel like we've had this card too, but maybe not. Very interesting. And that's the first one that wants to come out and or to be read. That's unusual. It's card number 33, which I can't unsee. I have a thing about threes. The very first writing of Jason's that I recorded was the recursion protocol, the 33 sacred keys. Because I have a thing with threes, I always have. This card is water, lake, moon. and it's on page 47, which is an 11. And the card itself is a 33. So that's very interesting. And don't ask me, I don't know from numbers. Honestly, it's a noticing that I always have. And I know some folks uh, make a lot out of numbers, and I'm just called to notice them. So this card says, we earthlings perceive the moon by way of the sunlight reflecting off its surface. Just as shaman gather visions and insights from the moonlight reflected upon the lakes and rivers, it is time to pause and reflect, dear one. Step into stillness and rest there, contemplating all that has been and all that you aspire to be. The deeper you are willing to delve into yourself, the more insights you will discover. That is really good advice. I don't care who you are or what you're doing or where you're going or what you think about anything. As far as I'm concerned, for me, and I can't unsee the synchronicity of this and the recordings of Jason's that I've done today. Now, I haven't put them out yet. I record them all at once while I have the energy to do so. And then I will be putting them out later on today once I return from accompanying Lisa to her doctor's appointment. So you can look forward to those a little later. I'm going to read that again. The deeper you are willing to delve into yourself, the more insights you will discover. Don't get sucked into the distractions of the outside world. Now is the time to go inside. Allow your attention to take the shape of the moon as your innermost being becomes the waters upon which it is reflected. Can you sit patiently in the silence and allow the insights to make themselves known and to guide you on your journey? Well, in many ways, even though this is live and you are here, you are also not here. This is my bedroom, and I am alone, talking essentially to myself. Wow. Not to mention, that's a beautiful card. And I can't unsee that synchronicity in regards to not just the numbers, but the different recordings. And if you feel called to come back and check later on today, you'll see what I mean by that. So I'm feeling like the journey, the divine discernment, the hero's journey dream oracle is wanting to be next. It's card number 13, and that for me has always been a card of the divine feminine. Numerologically, that's considered a 4. Divine discernment, step back to find clarity. Wow, that echoes the other card, doesn't it? There's a quote here from Ernest Holmes: to the one who can perfectly practice inaction, all things are possible. The message here: take a breather and honor your yin feminine nature. I just got a message, by the way, that popped up on my phone. I want to remind everyone, I was asked to appear on a somebody else's podcast, and that will be coming up, and I will be sharing it on the channel. a gal by the name of Elisa. She is, I believe her channel is called The Rebel Crone. And she is starting a new podcast series, Wisdom of the Modern Crone. And I've always, I have considered myself a crone, proudly so. And so I was honored to appear on her podcast, and I'm not sure exactly when that will be released, but she has already put out 2 other episodes with some fabulous ladies. I will link her YouTube channel in the show more section of this video later today. So by the time it appears on Sassy Seer Sheila, it will be in the show more section as you are hearing this. So take a breather and honor your yin or feminine nature. This is not always easy to do in a culture that honors and celebrates the yang, which is the drive or strive mode, while turning up its nose at the virtues of the yin qualities of flow and letting go. In yang mode, we get things done. In yin mode, we fill our tank and reflect on our larger vision and purpose. So when it is time to move, we do so with precision. If we are to live in balance, we need both action and reflection. There are times to do and times for inaction. To know which mode is most appropriate, step back and practice discernment. And I, for one, feel that this card came out specifically now for me anyway, for a couple of different reasons. As I shared in my thoughts on messengers and channelings and things like that, at this point, for me, discernment is absolutely key for each one of us, actually. There is so much information out there, so much distraction, so much false information. Even in the love and light and ascension communities, a lot of distraction and attempts to divert the what actually is happening, right? It's so developing one's own discernment is absolutely key in my view for so many reasons. There's also a dream symbol of the observer here, something that I've noticed that I've become more and more and more the observer in regards to a lot of things, and having the desire to develop one's discernment is absolutely key. Being an observer is key to developing that discernment. I feel as though that's the case. Dreams where you are the observer as opposed to being on the field of play can signify that you are watching your life from afar, gaining an objective perspective, and considering the larger ramifications of your action/reactions. You may have felt aloof on the roof. If that resonates, it may be time for you to risk taking a more active role in your life. However, if that isn't the case, this dream may be revealing a strategy for how to access greater wisdom and mindfulness by stepping back, watching the parade roll by, so you can join in with gusto when the time is right. For me, I know that maintaining my discernment, regardless of what anyone else may think of a situation, is absolutely key. Partly because we've been taught to hand our power over to authority whom we have been told knows more than us. Doctors, teachers, scientists, people with letters after their names because they have more education than we do. They've been there, they know it. Who are we? Those sorts of things. So it's very easy for us to assume that we know nothing and therefore they are the expert and we need to listen to them. That for me has absolutely flown out the window. At 63 and having gone through medical misdiagnoses after medical misdiagnoses, after watching and seeing and now knowing that almost nothing that we've been told is 100% accurate. Oh, I've been in divine discernment development mode for quite some time. And I will not just willy-nilly believe somebody because they think they know more. But there is a tendency with us all, including myself, because of that whole thing from birth, getting the message, whether it was meant to or not, that we're not smart enough. Who do we think we are? That sort of thing. You're too little. We've been taught from the beginning that we can't trust ourselves. And that's simply not true on any sort of level. Not on any sort of level. And so practicing that divine discernment is absolutely key. Now, the divine animal oracle card that came out was horse. And the key word here being freedom. To be truly free, we must learn true independence. Trust yourself, as listening to people who may have other agendas is not the way to make good, clear decisions. Boy, can't you see a pattern here? I can. Individuation from our parents is a natural process, although it is often fraught with difficulty on both sides. Your true power resides in your ability to always know you have a choice and it is yours to make. And that's coming more and more and more up for me to see that I have the power for me. The only way that someone else actually will have power over me is if I hand it to them. And how do we hand it to them? By agreeing, consenting that they know more than me. They know better than I do. And I won't go there anymore. Even if I'm wrong, I will learn something. That much I know for certain. Ask me how I know. The mythos. There was once a young king who lived in a castle upon a great hill, who had just been newly crowned. So he began looking for a queen. He was out riding one day and saw a woman who was riding her huge white stallion as well, if not better, than he rode. Her horse flew across the fields, and the woman's hair streamed long and wild behind her. The king kicked on his horse, and after some time caught up with her. Her face was flushed, her smile bright, and her words joyful. Their eyes met, and they fell deeply in love. After a time, the young king realized Rhiannon, for that was her name, who was loving, loyal, gentle, wise, and fair, was all he wanted in a queen. He asked her to marry him, and she accepted with grace. Rhiannon's responsibilities as queen would now be taken over from the queen regent. And while it would be natural for the mother of the king to be pleased for her son, secretly she was vastly jealous of her usurper and resented her loss of personal power. Soon, a beautiful blue-eyed son with a star-like birthmark on his leg was born. To protect him, Rhiannon kept her baby with her as she slept in her chambers. One morning, when Rhiannon awoke, her baby was gone from her, and in his stead was a great deal of blood. She screamed in horror. The queen regent yelled, "Look, she has killed her baby. I knew she wasn't to be trusted." Rhiannon insisted the baby had been taken, but the queen regent was not to be convinced. The king asked Rhiannon where the baby was, but she confessed she didn't know. Rhiannon's son had been kidnapped by the queen regent in the night. She had killed a chicken and used its blood to make the scene against Rhiannon. The queen regent had decided to raise the son as her own, and he was safe but hidden. Rhiannon was put on trial, and she made no defense, and so was found guilty of her son's murder. The king, still so in love with her, could not kill her, but instead sentenced her to a job that would bring huge shame to her every day. As the castle was up on a hill, visitors were given a horse to travel to the top. Rhiannon's new job was to take the place of one of the hard-working horses and carry people to the top of the castle on her back. Every day she struggled with her guilt, never raising her head. She slept in the stables with the horses, curled up and crying. Rhiannon gradually became aware of the importance of the work that the horses did beside her. People couldn't get to the castle without them, and they bore the work with strength and focus. She also realized the horses were set free at night, and they ran, played, loved, and foraged, mindful of that moment. She decided that she too would follow their example, bearing the guests with strength and focus and enjoying her freedom at the end of the day instead of hiding in shame. One night, on one of these evening walks, she saw the queen regent playing with a little boy in a lower courtyard of a farm. He was on a small pony. She thought the king must have remarried quickly. The small boy lost his balance and fell. The queen regent checked him over for cuts, and as she did so, the little boy's trouser leg was lifted, and there on his leg was a birthmark in the shape of a star. Rhiannon realized this was her own son and that she had been tricked. She called the local people together to witness the boy and confirm the mark on his leg. Happily, the king had not stopped loving Rhiannon and reinstated her as queen, banishing his mother into exile. Rhiannon never forgot the lessons of the horses who had worked beside her, and from then on, no horse was a beast of burden in their kingdom, but instead a symbol of power and freedom. Mythos about horses or featuring horse deities encircle the world. Wherever horses were found or heard of, deities linked to horses include Epona, Etan, Apollo, Poseidon, Resif, Suna, Odin, Neptune, and Equester. Besides the dog, there is perhaps no other animal that has shared such a close and integral relationship with humans. Horses have been a partner for humans in their discovery of the world, in wars, in the production and hunting of food, and as a riding companion. Without horses being domesticated, huge numbers of cultures would have found it impossible to trade, roam, discover, and conquer vast territories. The human race owes horses a debt it is impossible to repay. Hi, Mark. Glad you could join us. Horse magic is profoundly free and powerful. To ride a horse at full gallop is to experience a sacred bolt of the most primal liberty. When you are feeling trapped or small, expand your field by calling for their energy. There is also a long history in physical and mental healing with horse energy, and this can be used when you are ill or unstable. There's actually quite a few places that use equine therapy for all manner of things: autism, folks with muscular disorders, all sorts of things, PTSD, I think, as well. Horse energy invokes a calm and solid presence and can be used to quiet your spirit if you are feeling disturbed. Horse magic is also an expression of trust. A powerful horse could go anywhere it wants, yet it is willing to be led. A person trusts the horse to be sure-footed, leap, and run away from danger, while the horse trusts the human to be its partner, to not hinder, to take care of it, to guide it. It can be a very deep bond if you allow it to be. If you are ever doubting yourself or feeling trapped, engage in some horsepower. Expand your field by calling for their energy. Their status is of at least concern. However, wastage and cruelty in the horse racing industry are issues, as is the habitat destruction of some populations of wild horses. Well, here in North Carolina, we do have wild horses on some of the Outer Banks islands. I've never seen them in person, but I've seen pictures and videos and whatnot. And of course, horses are just absolutely beautiful. So the next card that wanted to be shared is the Heart of God, card number 9 here. You are a part of something profound, a divine calling and privilege. It is the role of inspiratrix or inspirator upon this earth. The women and men who have hearts capable of bliss. Bliss is what we feel when we let God in. The heart, and in light of everything that I've been taking in of late from Jason's words, I feel this to be saying remembrance of self, of the flame. The heart opens and we cannot speak for the sensation of it. It cannot be described. Great hearts can tolerate mystery. They can bear the enormity of divine bliss beyond analysis and description and simply be. You do not have to do anything with it, you see. To be the inspiration is to have a heart open to the divine. It's a life calling. Your heart is an inspirational force to be loved, recognized, and protected for the precious catalyst of divine awakening that it is. Be led by your precious heart. God is in it, speaking through it, calling you forth to love, and the love that flows through your heart filters out through your toes, dripping on those around you as stars falling from the heavens. This oracle holds a message for you direct from the divine. You have a sacred purpose to fulfill upon this earth, and it's all sorted out. This situation, this issue, this awakening that you seek and are living even now is held lovingly in the hands of the divine creator. The creator says to you, leave it with me. It's all unfolding in perfection. I am alive in your heart. I am your heart. And I feel like we are the divine creator, actually, fragments of it, remembering the truth of who we are. When souls are touched with love sublime and hearts unleash the wonder found, a promise made somewhere in time of words that speak without a sound. In gratitude, we transcend space and bless the gifts we now can keep of thought's caress in soft embrace and eyes allowed in joy to weep. The moment's song that we compose will leave this life with no regret and carry forth what we impose to chart again a course once set. For what we have is ours to own, each breath a step we measure sweet. Together now we wait alone and walk in peace, our hearts complete. Wow. I tell you, I really don't even know what to say because so much seems to be moving so quickly for me in many ways, and yet nothing at all has changed or transpired. So it's such a sort of like a paradoxical sort of happening for me. It's very interesting and beautiful in many ways. I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It truly is just your perspective of what joy is. And then, of course, what your perception of that. And so I really would ask everyone as well to continue to keep Crystal in your thoughts as she recovers. As you know, if you're just joining us, I just got word that the surgery is complete. She is now in recovery. And so just keep her in your thoughts. If you find yourself able and would like to help to support her, as she will not be able to work, she is a single mom, and she will not be able to work, drive, or do anything for several weeks while she is in this recovery. There is a GoFundMe link that will appear in this video later today. I am also going to make a community post on the channel, on both channels, so that it will be there. And if you are my Facebook friend, you will also see that post on my wall. If you don't feel to donate, but you would like to support her in another way, she has a lot of different things, but right now, the one thing that you could purchase that she doesn't have to ship to you would be from her bonfire store. She has many different designs that she's created that are available on all different kinds of t-shirts, sweatshirts, just a beauty. She is such an artist. So that link will be also in the show more section and is in one of the GoFundMe posts on my wall as well. So until we meet again, I hope that you will be well, my friends. Mwah.